Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Path of Exile tutorial. So 2 videos in one day, though I may not release this one the same day. Today, we're going to do a little bit of science, a little bit of fun, and a lot of profit making. We're going to be farming Nightmare Fortress maps. Now, as many people know, this league they got rid of the Tier 17 map and replaced them with the Nightmare maps. The Nightmare maps are interesting in that they basically are the same as the old Tier 17s, but they do lose out on the guaranteed basically up-tiering effect that Tier 17s had over Tier 16s. This, though, isn't really a problem for what we are trying to do, which is farm some ore. Notably, we are using the Calguran scarabs ×2 to force 4 additional ore deposits into our map. The atlas itself gives us an additional 1 with a 50% chance of a second. So that means that we will always have at least 5 deposits, sometimes 6, in our maps. If any of these happen to overlap with the Mirage, we can also get an additional 1 in the Mirage. On top of this, we are running the Calguran Scarab of Enriching. This is a particularly interesting scarab in that it does nothing for the first ore deposit that you touch, but every subsequent deposit after that you complete will increase the amount of ore gained by 15%. This means on a guarantee on every map, you will have on your final deposit a 60% increase. However, what this means in practice is if you complete a map and that map does in fact give you a total of 6 ore deposits, you will get the equivalent of 225% total ore increase, or 8 deposits worth of ore, effectively. This is really, really good. A Verisium deposit is 1.75 Verisium deposits. That's pretty solid. On top of this, we are also running the Scarab of the Sinestral and the Scarab of the Dextral. Now this might seem a little strange to some people because this does remove our prefixes and suffixes, and Nightmare maps are all about the fact that they are guaranteed 6 mod and have the really cool stuff. Well, that's not entirely accurate of a description. While it does indeed take away the suffix and the prefix modifiers from your map, making it effectively a scoured map, this does not actually matter on a Tier 17 map because Tier 17 maps will give you some wonderful base quantity and things of that nature. The map itself also has the ever-loved Uber Boss fragment drops. These are guaranteed drops from the final map boss. In combination with the fact that the map itself is unidentified, you will have guaranteed quantity on your map, which can affect the chance of those Uber fragment drops, the loot that you get from your ore deposits, and the general rewards from the map. Now, at the time of recording, if you go look for the actual fragments themselves, you will find that several of them are quite expensive, and they are right here. For example, if you get the Reverent fragments, these are 125C or half a div each. You will usually get between 2 and 5 fragments per map depending on what you are doing, if you're using the scarabs that I'm using, etc. So you can make quite a bit of money off of this if you can kill these bosses. Now my build does not do very good single target damage unless I get a very juicy ignite prior to entering the boss arena. But this is okay. We will eventually kill the boss with our setup. So, we have our scarabs, we have our map. This is our Atlas tree. We currently are using the Templar Blight setup, which doesn't really matter for the Tier 16 Nightmare map since we do not have the Astrolabe, but occasionally we will spawn a Blight, and those Blights can be very, very fun. If you want to focus more on guaranteeing a Blight in your map, drop some points, take the pathway that takes you up this way, and grab these Blight nodes here to give you almost a guaranteed chance just by themselves of giving you a Blight. These 4 nodes equate to a grand total of 76% increased chance to have a Blight in your map. The base Blight chance is around, I think, 7 or 8%, so these 4 nodes mean that you will get a Blight 4 out of 5 maps. Very nice. If you combine that with these nodes down here, you basically will take it to 100% chance to have a Blight in your map. Again, very nice. Over here we are grabbing the Refiner's Bargain. The reason for this is because occasionally we get ghosts, which we don't care about. Occasionally we get harvests that we don't care about. But every single map is going to have sulfite. The sulfite that you get from these maps, in these nightmare maps especially, is anywhere between 700 and 900 of whatever type of ore it decides to give you. This is affected by quant multipliers, this is affected by map mods, this is affected by the unidentified modifier. All good stuff. Up here we are taking lost in transit because the lost shipments are generally very profitable. You will very often open a shipment middle cache and get a divine or two. Very good stuff. We are taking the blue altars because that is what my build is best at dealing with. You do not need to do this. If you do not have a full atlas, then you can skip the altars, and I would in fact encourage it. We have the node here for Packed with Energy. This is 3% maximum all res, as well as 100% increased damage and a few other movement speed bonuses, things like that. Very, very, very handy. And of course we are taking the mining byproducts. In the past this did not work with Refiner's Bargain, however GGG seems to have fixed this, or it's a bug, because now it most certainly does. In the middle we have the quant wheel, more sulfite or Nico chance, we take the hat, we take the increased effective explicits here and here. Now I will state that these mods and whether or not they actually work the way that they should work is not known to me. I do not know if this will apply before the sinestral and dextral or not. If it does not work with the sinestral and dextral, then you can drop these nodes. And then finally, Verisium ore and bismuth ore chance. We want these two ores, they are the best ores of course. We do not want amber, even though it is the third best ore now. It is just so annoying to deal with. Crimson is perfectly acceptable if you want to have more crimson, and the same with orichalcum, but orichalcum is slow. This one is very fast, actually it's instant. This one is also very fast, instant for high damage builds. This one can be very fast, just the channel time and then instantly blow up the whole screen. This one sucks, and this one is decent. If you do fully fill out your atlas, as always, you can come up here and grab the originator map node so that you have a better chance of getting originator map influence. And that's about it, really. Pretty straightforward, pretty quick. Let's go ahead and run one and see how it goes. Make sure we're on the right one. We are. We are ignoring all of the monsters because we really do not care. We'll turn on our RRF, I guess. Here's our first one, and we can see we got 900 or 875 crimson ore. We're going to go ahead and activate this. Instantly kill all these by getting near them with the ignite, and boom, another 1000. Nice and easy. Now we are looking for the boss, which should be right here. Here he is. Now for my build, unfortunately, I do have to swap my rings. That way I can apply my mark and continue to get these little guys that spawn and kill them. If I had gotten a good explode before entering the arena, I would not have had to do this. But alas, I did not. So because of that, I now have to sit here and just basically do nothing until I can get one of these mods to explode for my chieftain explosion. Which so far, I don't think we've... There we go, we just got one. It's not a very big explosion, and it's not a lot of single target damage, but with the ignite duration, it should be fairly quick for me to do it. Again, if your build can actually do single target damage, unlike mine, this should take you only about 10 seconds to kill. There are no phases, there's no boss room, none of that annoying stuff. And there we go, he has died. We got 2 decaying fragments, and we go back to it. I want to get an explode, please. I also want to go back to my ring. There we go. Reverse chill. I did not get any good stuff. That's okay. Here we go again. Some more explodes. There we go. We are not going to actually touch the bismuth ore. We will come back for it. because we want to activate this. This will be our third completed ore deposit. Come on. There we go, 1500 orichalcum, very nice. We'll run through here, looking for the rest. Oh, I have the wrong thing checked. Well, that happens, I guess. I'm supposed to have the other or other type of influence, but it is what it is. Go ahead and grab that. And here is the Verisium ore, which we will fully channel. Or at least close to it. Maybe not fully channel. We'll see. Alright, there we go. 1200 Verisium. Very nice. Okay. Now we might have one more. I don't know. We'll go ahead and grab this because we don't really care. We'll go ahead and grab this because we don't really care. But I don't think we have any more. So now we'll go ahead and grab the very last one, which is right here for a nice 1600 bismuth ore. We'll grab that for another 800 bismuth ore. And that's it. Map is now complete. Nice, easy, quick. We could go do the Mirage. The problem is that I don't feel like it, and this video is already long enough. So let's go ahead and see what we got.
Exile.
Now, prior to doing this, I was supposed to actually remove all the gold, but I guess I didn't. But we can see here from this that I gained 1200 Verisium ore, 3300 bismuth total from the ore deposits and the sulfites, 1500 of the orichalcum ore, and then 4000 or so crimson ore, which is pretty good. Thankfully we got no amber, because amber is annoying to deal with. Now, some of you might be wondering, why does this matter? What good is all the ore? They redid Kingsmarch, they killed it, they made it awful, blah blah blah. I disagree. Allow me to explain. As many of you know, they've flip-flopped ore and crops in Kingsmarch. This has removed the time gating that was required in order to get mirror shards, but at the cost of people's shipments now looking like garbage. The thing is, most people are just doing shipments wrong. The old method of sending 25 million ore/bars, or crops, and dust is no longer really the most efficient way to do it. Instead, what you want to be doing is you want to be sending a combination of either ore and bars plus dust, or not, to equal at least 4 million shipment value before dust. This can best be accomplished with crops now. With crops, you can just send a simple 333,334 wheat, and you will get 4 million shipment value. This takes a little over 29 hours with all level 5 farmers. It also requires about 350,000 gold in order to get that many crops from your farmers. Once you have acquired this much resources, you want to send it to one of these ports, either Teanui, Motuaro, or Nakanu. Depending on which of these you get, you will either get strength, dexterity, or intelligence-based tattoos. The strength-based tattoos at the moment are the least valuable by far. The intelligence-based tattoos can be the most valuable. However, there are only a couple really valuable ones and a lot of not valuable ones. Dexterity, likewise, has only a few very good tattoos, but the not valuable ones convert into the valuable blue ones. So we're going to go ahead and set this shipment for here. We see that it's going to take 2.5 hours, an additional 2,800 gold per hour, so about 6,000 gold, 7,000 gold total to do this shipment. Not bad. Also, you will note there is 0 risk. I don't need to send all 5, but I just do because I'm lazy and don't feel like getting out the level 4s wherever I have them and dealing with that. Now, as I just got done mentioning, the rewards for these, sending out 4 million shipments, is mostly in tattoos. When you send a shipment with tattoos, you are almost always going to get tattoos up until the 4 million mark. After 4 million, you will not gain any additional tattoos. That's it. That's the maximum. No more. Now, we will go ahead and drop all these off real quick. And we will grab all of these. Now you can see here that if I were to take these tattoos and I were to take and sell them for chaos, actually I don't need to do that, most of these are not worth jack squat. 1C, 2C, 3C, blah blah blah. They're not really worth anything, and therefore, why do we care about them? Well, because these tattoos are worth quite a lot. This is the Ramako Fleetfoot tattoo. At time of recording, that is over a divine. The Spell Suppress, which is also a Ramako, is worth a little over 2 divines. And the Aranui Shaman, which Herald one, which is worth, you do the math, 4 divines maybe? 3 divines? Kind of depends on the divine to chaos ratio, I guess. These come from tattoos that are not worth very much at all. For example, I have all these Ramakos, which I will go ahead and take and sell. These Ramakos were worth next to nothing. Now I convert them, and look at that. I just gained spell suppression tattoos. And then I additionally gained some more Ramakos that I can then go ahead and just resend back for 1 more. Now unfortunately I got nothing there, but that's okay. So let's move on. Let's go ahead and take these Aranui ones. I think that's it for those. Alright, so you can see here I'm going to get 6 random items. And one of them was a spell suppress, or was a herald tattoo. We'll go ahead and do it again with the remaining ones. Cold damage, chance to freeze. Just double check to make sure. 2 more. And we missed. No big deal. Finally, we have the Tawa. These guys generally are not very good. However, there is one particular one that you can get that's worth at least a little bit. And we'll see if we got one here. We did. The Shaman. As you can see here, the Shaman is worth around 20 chaos, but given that the rest of these are currently not worth about anything, it can be very much worth it to just go ahead and take your Tawas, re-roll them for the Shaman, and put them up on the market. Also, make sure you double check you're not getting scammed. Selling this for 16C is just scamming myself out of money. Instead, I want to list this for something more, like 25C for 1 tattoo. Because the lowest on the market is currently 28C, with someone putting a buffer at 30C, this tattoo will sell, and it will sell very quickly. This is true for all of the tattoos. Herald buff effect, 446C. Not if you do it this way. So make sure you don't get scammed by just selling immediately to somebody's buy order. Lastly, I want to go over the tattoos that you can get that aren't good. And by that I mean the Tasalios. Generally speaking, you will get a lot of these tattoos, and they are kind of garbage. But, just like with the others in the Tawa, there is one tattoo that is actually worth getting. If you look here, Shaman is 2C each when you buy them, but most people don't need them. The Avoid Being Stunned, however, 4C each, and people generally do like this tattoo, especially on certain builds where it's hard to get. The Blind is 5C each. This is the one that I find actually sells the best. I don't know why, I don't know what builds are making use of it, but re-rolling to get this one out of these terrible ones can be pretty good. Now, because we are only getting green tattoos and not blue tattoos, you might wonder, well, how are we getting all these? Well, it's because we get a whole heck of a lot of these, and sometimes these. So we're going to go ahead and take all these really bad tattoos, and we're going to try and vendor them. We gained 1 of each, very nice. We also gained this tattoo. This is the other really expensive tattoo that you can sometimes get. 9C. They don't sell as often because not a lot of builds use marks, but when they do sell, it is a nice little bit of money, and they are fairly common.
What are we shipping?
So we're going to go ahead and re-roll the rest of these. I think we're going to even re-roll all of these, and for good measure we'll do that because it's nice and even. Perfect. We got these. The MAME on hit is not worth it. Don't waste your time. And there we go.
Onward.
That's it. They've all been done, all been vendored. Right? Yep. Tasoyo, Tawa, yep. These tattoos, the Velako and Hinakora lines, are very, very solid overall. Velako line can become the red block tattoo, which at the time of recording is third only to the suppression tattoo and the Herald buff effect tattoo. But it is an extremely rare tattoo to actually get, even from the reroll. And you cannot get it by doing the blue because it is a red tattoo. So, going for the red just for that one tattoo, never worth it. Rerolling Velakos for it can be worth it, but RNG is not usually on your side. Hinakora, on the other hand, has quite a few medium value tattoos, worth 100 to 150C depending on the time of the league, and those tattoos generally sell. Chaos Resist always sells, the minion life nodes, they sell, things like that. But again, it's not usually worth it to go for these tattoos when you can very easily be getting these tattoos, especially given that these are basically the same price and value as the Hinakoras, and they are just as common, and these are way more valuable than even the best intelligence one that you normally will get. Again, if you get lucky and get a shaman one from the int one, that's pretty good. So that's all I really got for you guys today. If you are curious,
Exile.
I will try to put in the comments exactly how much this ore equates to in terms of shipment value. But I can already tell you that from my previous experiments, the total shipment value that I have gained from doing this, in fact, you know what? Why don't we just go do this real quick?
Decisions must be made.
I should be able to at least roughly approximate what I got, even though I've wasted a little.
Oh, good. Hail.
Prepare shipment. So let's see, we have 2400 here, so we're just going to put 2400 in. We have no orichalcum ore. We don't know what we had there. We're just going to go ahead and guess that it was 2000. We had no amber at all. We had 1200 of this, and we had like 2000 of this. So you can see here that we got roughly 300,000 shipment value from that map. Now, when I've ran these in the past, I've actually usually wound up getting even more than that. And if we go look,
Welcome to the well met.
actually wait, we only needed to do this. So actually we had 3,300 bismuth ore, so let me go ahead and change that.
Hail.
Right? Yeah.
What do you need?
There we go. The previous maps that I have ran have given me around 320 to 350,000 shipment value. Those maps, however, I did not wait to grab the bismuth till the end. I just grabbed whatever came in whatever order it came in. So if you are a little more strategic and you wait and do your Verisium at the very end after everything else, or your bismuth at the very end after everything else, this value will increase. I would approximate that realistically you can get an additional 15% here, or an additional 1,500 or so. So we'll go ahead and raise that to 1,400. That's 20,000 shipment value, or 200,000 after 10 maps. It can be very, very beneficial to do that. Once you have enough shipment value saved up, you want to go ahead and do just like we were doing with the crops. However, for ore, we actually do want to send dust if we have it. We still want to send 4 million shipment value, but we want to add dust to that shipment value to make it up to 8 million before sending it out to whatever port we're going to send it to. Please do keep in mind, if you send to Moti Aro or to Calgar, it really does not matter what your shipment value is. These are going to have a 10% risk chance. So because of that, I generally don't recommend going to these two locations unless desperate. Instead, just send to Teanui. get your green tattoos, have 0% risk chance, or even send to Nakanu. If you are needing graphs or are playing solo self-found, of course feel free to do this. Additionally, when you are sending your bars, you kind of want to make sure that you re-roll the values here of your favored. Oh, I forgot to add gold. Oh, wait. There we go.
I see ya.
Like that. You want to re-roll for at least 2 favored resources, but 3 is actually better. So, for example, right now my current favored resources are crimson iron, wheat, and pumpkin, but I've already met those quotas. So I'm going to go ahead and re-roll this as soon as I can, which I actually can't because I have a shipment going to it. But let's go ahead and do it to this one. Nope, we don't want that. This would be okay. There we go. But let's keep going and try and find a nice 3-bar. There we go. So now, as soon as I have enough bars, I will send it to Nakanu. I'll get some strength tattoos. I'll get whatever the favored rewards are, which can be pretty nice. It did cost some gold to do this, but it can be kind of fun to gamble. Anyway, that's all I had for you guys today. More of a standard length video to go with my short video. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you next time.